Good afternoon. My name is Bill Falls, and I have the honor of serving as Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences here at the University of Vermont. I'm pleased to welcome you to one of UVM's most revered tradition, the Endowed Faculty Investiture Ceremony. I'm excited to share this occasion with those of you in the room and many of you who have joined us online with our live stream video feed. Today, we have the pleasure of recognizing and celebrating an outstanding faculty member. In just a few moments, Dr. Matthias Brewer will be formally invested as the inaugural A. Paul and Arlene F. Krapcho Green and Gold Professor in Chemistry. This is a special moment for the College of Arts and Sciences and for the Chemistry Department. Interest and excitement in our chemistry program continues to grow, and I can proudly declare that the department would not be on this trajectory without Dr. Krapcho's incredible contributions as an educator, researcher, and mentor. We are privileged to have several special guests joining us here and online today to mark this occasion. I would like to extend a warm welcome to Arlene Krapcho and her children, Doug and Karen, who are here in person, and to Arlene and Paul's daughter, Susan, who is joining us online. And while he's unable to join us here, I know that Paul shares the excitement of this moment with his entire family, who have a rich legacy with the university. I'd also like to welcome the family and friends of today's honoree, Dr. Matthias Brewer. UVM Provost Patty Prelock is also with us, as are excellent faculty, staff, and student leaders from the College of Arts and Sciences, the Department of Chemistry, and across campus. We are also joined by Monica DeLisa, the President and CEO of the UVM Foundation, and several members of the UVM Foundation team who work to advance the mission of the university by bringing donors together with partners at the university. Today, we get to celebrate the power of philanthropy. The College of Arts and Sciences is home to nearly 24 endowed faculty positions, the oldest of which was established over 150 years ago. Today's Green and Gold Professorship is only the second in the chemistry department and will now complement the John H. Pomeroy Professorship of Chemistry that was established in 1878 and is currently held by Dr. Christopher Landry. Today, we recognize and thank Dr. Paul Krapcho, his wife, Arlene Krapcho, and the entire Krapcho family for endowing the newest fund to support the chemistry department. Paul and Arlene have been members of the UVM family for nearly 65 years. Upon his arrival at UVM in 1960, Paul launched a distinguished career marked by many accomplishments and accolades, including receipt of the prestigious University Scholar designation. Paul has served as a Fulbright Fellow in France, a research scholar at Stanford and Duke universities, and a visiting professor at the Cancer Research Laboratory of the University of Auckland Medical School. In addition, Paul was inducted into the Vermont Academy of Science and Engineering in 2010 and was named a Fellow of the Vermont Academy of Arts and Sciences in 2013. Professor Krapcho understands the fundamental importance of education and mentorship and tirelessly applied himself to the betterment of our university. Thank you, Paul. UVM students are fortunate to have learned from a truly outstanding scholar whose teaching and research enhance our university community every day. I would like to acknowledge the work of the University of Vermont Foundation. Significantly, the foundation team has helped donors like the Krapchos establish many new endowed faculty positions in the past decade. Today, the university boasts more than 125 endowed chairs and professorships, and we are extremely proud to welcome Professor Brewer to that esteemed group. For several years now, the University of Vermont has paid special tribute to the outstanding scholars, researchers, and teachers who serve as endowed chairs and professors. In doing so, we embrace a symbolic tradition dating back to the Middle Ages, when early European universities honored their scholars with elaborate rites of investiture. At UVM, These ceremonies acknowledge and highlight the stature of the newly endowed position and celebrate the significant accomplishments and promising future of its recipients. At this time, it's my great pleasure to introduce the UVM Provost to offer her thoughts. Please join me in welcoming Provost Patty Prelock.
Thank you so much, Bill, and thank you, Arlene, and to the children, Doug and Karen, and to everyone who's here. It's really important that we show our support of outstanding faculty members and to honor the Krapcho's really amazing generosity and thoughtfulness. As UVM's provost, it's my great privilege to take part in this significant academic tradition and to honor Professor Brewer. Matthias exemplifies excellence as a scientist, an esteemed colleague, a mentor, and educator, embodying the qualities that make our institution a really vibrant place for students, postdocs, and faculty to excel. At UVM, we care deeply about people and our planet, and Professor Brewer's work is a great example of our distinctive excellence in academics and research activities centered on human health, thriving communities, and the environment. As a land-grant institution, we are committed to serving our community, addressing key challenges, and promoting the health and well-being of our state. Outstanding faculty members like Professor Brewer are absolutely critical at every level in really helping us fulfill and achieve our vision and our mission as a university. Indeed, as I've often said, our remarkable faculty and staff are the university's most precious asset. From my perspective as provost, endowed professorships and chairs are an essential part of our academic fabric. Appointment to an endowed position is among the highest academic honors and allows us to recognize and celebrate our most accomplished scholars. Endowed professorships have an even greater impact, though. They signify our community support and commitment to excellence and innovation. They are incredible recruitment and retention tools to attract and retain the most creative researchers and the most effective teachers. Over the years, each named professor or chair will touch hundreds or thousands of lives through their teaching, through their mentoring, through their research, through their collaborative work. Today, we are proud to recognize Professor Brewer as an outstanding graduate of the University of Vermont and an accomplished member of our community and our faculty. We warmly welcome him to the growing ranks of UVM endowed professors and chairs. And we thank Paul and Arlene Krapcho from the bottom of our hearts for their lasting impact on this university and its ability to attract and retain exceptional faculty members like Professor Brewer. I would now like to invite Dean Falls back to the podium to introduce Dr. Brewer.
Thank you, Patty. Allow me to share with you a little bit about Professor Matthias Brewer and why he is most deserving of the honor we are bestowing upon him today. Matthias is one of a select few faculty who have the distinction of saying that they are also a graduate of the University of Vermont. Matthias graduated cum laude from UVM in 1996 with a Bachelor of Arts in Chemistry. This is where the story gets a little special. During his time at the university, Matthias was mentored by a UVM faculty member who shaped his personal and professional life. That professor was Dr. Paul Krapcho. After graduating from UVM, Matthias went on to receive his PhD in organic chemistry from the University of Wisconsin-Madison and completed a postdoctoral fellowship at the University of California, Irvine. From there, he returned home to the University of Vermont. Matthias joined our faculty in 2005, rising through the academic ranks, becoming a full professor, and then serving as department chair, which he has since 2021. We would be here a while if I were to list all of Matthias's professional accomplishments, so let me simply say that he is an accomplished scholar and a researcher who has secured grants from the National Institutes of Health as well as the National Science Foundation. He has dozens of peer-reviewed publications, several patents, and is a sought-after speaker. Now, the moment we've been waiting for, I would like to ask Provost Prelock to join me again here at the podium. And we will now present Professor Brewer with a medallion.
All right, it's my privilege to read the citation as he is going to be garnered with this amazing medallion. So Professor Brewer embodies the College of Arts and Sciences' passion for exploring the richness and diversity of research, human experience, and innovation. He is a quintessential teacher scholar whose expertise in organic chemistry, synthetic methods, and synthesis of small molecule medicinal agents have enriched his teaching and mentorship and has impacted our society in countless ways. Professor Brewer is an outstanding scholar and educator. His work brings great distinction to the College of Arts and Sciences and the University of Vermont. We are so proud to count him among our faculty. Professor Brewer, as the inaugural A. Paul and Arlene F. Krapcho Green and Gold Professorship in Chemistry, we honor you today with this medallion. May it serve as an enduring symbol of the excellence that you strive to achieve in all aspects of your professional life. Now, Professor Brewer, the podium is yours to say a few words.
Well, thank you very much. And thank all of you for coming here today. I'm very sorry that Paul Krapcho couldn't join us and be with us here today. But Arlene and Karen and Doug, thank you very much for coming. And Susan, thank you for being here online. I hope you know how much I appreciate you being here. So for a few days now, I've been trying to think of how to express myself and my feelings on this honor, and I found it pretty difficult. To be the recipient of an endowed professorship is a huge honor, but this particular one is especially meaningful for me for probably obvious reasons. But for the role that Paul Krapcho has played in my life and my career. When I came to UVM as an undergraduate and became a chemistry major, the reason I declared chemistry as a major was because I knew I liked sciences, but I didn't really necessarily love chemistry at that point. And it wasn't until I joined Professor Krapcho's research group that really took hold, and I really found, that was a turning point for me. I really started to love chemistry at that point. Not only did the experiences I have in his group build my knowledge and confidence and set me up well for graduate school, but they also made my time at UVM pretty special. It gave me, a sense of belonging and a sense of community to be part of this research group, and it really changed my experience here at UVM. Looking back on it now, Paul Krapcho gave me a remarkable amount of time and attention. Now that I'm a faculty member and I realize how much he had going on at the time, it's really remarkable how much time he spent with me, whether it was helping me on the very first day in lab set up a reaction. That was kind of startling for me. I came into his office thinking, okay, I'll learn a little bit about the project. And as soon as I got there, he said, all right, let's go set something up. And we went right to work. And then I had the opportunity to work with him for a summer as part of a Pfizer summer undergraduate research fellowship that I had received. And at the end of that summer, there was a conference at Pfizer down in Groton, Connecticut. And Paul Krapcho actually drove me down there and attended the conference with me. And I'll be honest, I was a little apprehensive as a sophomore or junior, I guess, at that point, to spend 8 hours on a road trip with Professor Krapcho, but there was no reason to be apprehensive. It was a wonderful experience and something that I actually remember very fondly. But I think the remarkable thing is that I'm not really unique in the impact that Professor Krapcho had on students. He had 49 graduate students complete their theses with him. Who knows how many undergraduate students he had, just a tremendous number over the years that he imparted wisdom and career advice to. I've met several of his former students who all very fondly remember their times with him and the impact that he had on their lives. So Paul really has a remarkable legacy in the students that he trained, and all the knowledge that they have put into the scientific community because of him. His impact on science is really remarkable as well. Bill touched on a little bit of his career. He began as a physical organic chemist studying fundamental reactivity, and then he went on to develop some useful synthetic methodology, and even has what's called a named reaction. So that's when a reaction is useful enough and common enough that it gets associated with the person that discovered it. And so his named reaction is the Krapcho dealkoxycarbonylation reaction. That's used still very, very frequently and is quite useful. From there, he morphed into a medicinal chemist studying cancer chemotherapeutics. And he and his team ultimately discovered and developed pixantrone, which was approved for use in Europe to treat non-Hodgkin's B-cell lymphomas. It is extremely rare for a drug to make it to market that has come out of academic lab. So that's really a huge accomplishment. And who knows how many people benefited from that drug and his work in that area. So to receive this honor today is both an honor and very humbling, because my own achievements, pale in comparison to what he has achieved over his career. As far as my own career goes, working with Paul was one of many really fortunate experiences I've had. But I had several others. I had a great experience as a graduate student and as a postdoc. And my time as a faculty member here at UVM has just been excellent. I feel truly lucky to be here surrounded by fantastic colleagues, both faculty and staff, who I really enjoy working with. It's been just a wonderful experience being here as a faculty member. I've also had the great fortune to work with outstanding graduate students over the years, as well as undergraduate students. And I owe a huge debt of gratitude and thanks to all of them, because really it's any success that I've had is really to a large extent due to their hard work and their efforts in lab. So I'm really proud of all that they've achieved over the years. Finally, I want to thank my family for their consistent patience and support that they've given me over the years, especially my wife, Amy, and my daughters, Emmeline and Simone. Amy's always been unwavering in her support of my career. And all three of them have sacrificed a lot to allow me to pursue my passion, which has been chemistry over the years. So finally, I'll end by thanking the Krapchos, Arlene and Paul, for establishing this professorship in our department. While I'm the initial holder and extremely honored by that, I won't be the last, since this is an endowed position. It'll benefit our department in perpetuity. And so thank you for your kindness and generosity and support, and special thanks to Paul for all he's done for me over my life. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthias, and congratulations again. I think knowing you are paying forward what Paul gave to you all those years ago. You're humble, and I appreciate that. But yeah, Paul has had a big impact on you, and I see you having a big impact in similar ways to your students. So thank you. Arlene and Paul, your generosity has made this endowed professorship possible, and it will stand as an enduring legacy to your commitment to advance the teaching and research of an accomplished member of our chemistry department faculty. Please accept this duplicate. You wouldn't mind giving that to Arlene? Please accept this duplicate of the medallion we have presented to Dr. Brewer. We hope it will serve as a tangible reminder of how grateful we are for your family's extraordinary support. I would now ask Doug Krapcho, UVM 85, to join me at the podium to offer remarks on behalf of the Krapcho family. You're welcome.
8 hours in the car with my dad, huh? Straight. I honestly don't think they gave you a big enough medallion for that, but nonetheless. So I'm going to start out by saying just a thank you to Patty and Bill, and particularly Alan, who reached out and connected, and we pulled all this together. And he I don't know what magic he did in doing all this, but just fantastic, and getting the weather and all the other aspects right. But it's great to be here. Just want to express our appreciation for everyone who's joining in person and the live stream as well. As mentioned a couple of times, unfortunately our dad wasn't well enough to attend us today, but our game plan, and through Alan, is we're going to have this recorded, and we're going to have an opportunity to share it with him at a time that's convenient for him to do from that end. So rest assured, he'll get an opportunity to celebrate with all of us as well. We are fortunate, though, in over the course of the last couple of days, that we've been able to spend some time with my dad. And yesterday in particular, we talked about today, and we talked about celebration, and it was all about just trying to get his thoughts around it. And you can obviously tell by the tone of the conversation here and some of the commentary going on before him, my dad, beyond excited about the celebration, beyond the excited about Matthias, you being selected from that standpoint. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a couple of minutes maybe to summarize a few things that came out of the conversation yesterday. The first, and this is probably a stated obvious for anybody who knows my dad, our dad's passion is organic chemistry. Hard stop. Pretty much it is what it is. And I'll put sort of two observations behind it. One, you've heard sort of points. This part, he probably, if he was up here, wouldn't share. He wasn't really big on sort of tuning his own horn and all his own accomplishments. But I'm going to take a minute to do that. And some of you guys have heard, but some of these not. And hey, I'm not a science guy here, so I may not get the nomenclature exactly right, but you guys can bear with me on that. So the first, which was, 6-decade career in the UVM chemistry department. I don't care what you're doing, but 6 decades of anything, you got to love what you're doing, period, from that standpoint. And obviously for us as a family, it afforded the opportunity. If I didn't know Vermont, we were born in Vermont, the kids were born in Vermont, and, we've loved it here. So it's, certainly it has its dividends for the family as well. 40 years teaching organic chemistry. So I do have some stats, which was, around 6,000 undergraduate students, around 400 graduate students. And Matthias, you mentioned, I think it was close to 50 completing the thesis. It is, helpful to note of the 6,000, and I don't think she's going to have a problem if I reference it. So my sister Karen took organic chemistry here at UVM, but not under my dad. But she had a very special process. And the way the process worked is when she took her exams, the TAs were instructed to bring her exam results directly to dad before Karen was informed of the results. So he would have the privilege and she would be rewarded with the direct feedback from my dad on how she did. If that isn't passion, I don't know what is from that standpoint. Rest assured, I went nowhere near organic chemistry here at UVM from that standpoint. 36 years of external funding for research. That's not easy. You guys work extremely hard and have to be incredibly talented and passionate about what you do to make that happen. He was an innovator and a collaborator and a creator of a drug treatment for non-Hodgkin lymphoma. He had a lab procedure, and I'm not going to go where you went. I simply called it the Krapcho reaction, named after him. He published over 130 papers, 5 patents, and was involved in around 40 committees. He even published a book on experience, which I guarantee you none of the kids ever read it. Somebody, I'm sure, did. Mom, I'm not sure if you did, but impressive, not to say. And then lastly, he had the opportunity to travel to over a dozen countries, places like Russia and China and India and France. And those were opportunities for him to share and learn and exchange global knowledge. Some of those we had a chance to go with him. Others we didn't, but we had a chance to see those experiences through his eyes, because he liked to take a lot of photos, and he did it through that old carousel slide projector. So I remember as a family, we'd have to sit down, and albeit some of them were more interesting than others, but it was one of those things you'd have the clicker going click, click, photo, photo, photo. When you tried to go to sleep, it was just kind of running in your brain, but he loved it. He loved that stuff, and he loved to be able to share the experience and what he learned, and it was just foundational who he was. The second observation, I'll fast forward to be much more recent. A couple of years ago, we were going through, I'll call it the difficult post-retirement planning with mom and dad. And, to be frank with you, dad had little interest in like the financials and the logistics, right? That's all mom, right? Mom's handling all that stuff. But there were three things he wanted to ensure were reflected in that. That the first is he wanted to make sure that mom was being cared for, which was nice, but somewhat ironic because it was actually kind of working the other way. Mom was the one who was taking care of him. The second is he wanted to establish the beneficiary on the royalties for the cancer drug, Pixantrone, and he wanted it earmarked to go to an undergrad chem major as a summer stipend. So this required a little bit of help in investigation and finding the legal department and a whole bunch of things for something that I don't think was, always done, but albeit he was adamant. We would draft these agreements back and forth, and he'd read every word. He's like, no, this needs to be changed and the like, but it just kind of gave you a little bit of indication who he was. And then, finally, he wanted to find a way to reward the passion, excellence, and commitment to teach and better human health through chemistry, which is why we are here today. And it's why, basically, I would say we're all in a position today that he would want to celebrate with us. Hang on one second. This is what you get with technology. It's why he would be celebrating and is celebrating with us, and extremely proud that Dr. Brewer has been selected as the green and gold A. Paul and Arlene F. Krapcho Professorship in Chemistry. So congratulations again, and thank you very much.
Thank you, Doug. As we reach the end of our formal program, I would like to thank everyone who spoke today and say again how deeply grateful we are to the Krapchos for their impactful and generous philanthropy. We all take pride every day in the important teaching, scholarship, and research that our College of Arts and Sciences faculty members carry out. So much of the work they do is enriched by the support of the university's donors and advocates, including many people watching. Thank you. This concludes our program. Thank you for attending this special ceremony to honor Matthias. And thanks again to the Krapcho family. I realize these are difficult times for you, and we appreciate your participation today. Thanks also to those watching online. I invite you all to join the rest of us for light refreshments provided here in the room. Thank you and good afternoon.
Nice to see you.
Hi there.
It's really nice. Well deserved. That's great. Good to see you.